Welcome everybody to episode 54 of Pick Our Brains.
Is
Whew.
it 54?
I think so. We got
Holy
50,
smokes.
51, 52, 53, and 54
What am
today.
I doing with my life?
I have
Everything I ever wanted to do. Talk about books. That's what I'm doing.
oh, you're living the dream right now.
Living the dream.
Absolutely living the dream. Welcome in everybody to episode 54 of Pick Our Brains. I am one of your hosts, Kent. The Hobbit is already in the chat. Number one is the Hobbit in the chat.
Why don't we give a gift out for the first person in every chat? Why don't we do that?
Okay, I'm gonna leave that up to you. You can do that. You can do that.
Maybe in starting in 2026, the either that, no, not the first person. We will come up with a question from the
Yeah.
previous episode that
Okay.
whoever answers it first in the chat gets a book.
You want to do trivia?
Yes, but it's from the previous episode.
Yeah, we could just do some cool trivia. Yeah, I like that idea.
I love that idea.
I know, but we're not. If you haven't noticed, Max, we're not the most organized YouTubers
We
out there.
we do
So
a hell of a job.
yeah, wow, we have some cool. Okay, so we got Junkman with the Christmas trees. Merry Christmas, everybody! Happy New Year here, and gosh, I don't know, 8 days, 9 days, something like that. And Christmas is here in just a couple days. Okay, wow, the chat is going crazy today, Max. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I'm
Wow,
trying to go on. You know me in the chat. I'm trying to
is
go
it
on.
is it a full moon or something? Um, Hoops on Fire 17 says, "Evening, gentlemen. Welcome in." I think that's a new commenter, Max. I don't recognize that name.
I don't know how to get the chat.
Okay. Hmm.
I see 8 viewers is all I see. That's okay.
How about you close YouTube and go back? I don't know how to help you sometimes, you know. We're gonna have to have like a tutorial, a practice session of you practicing to get the chat.
Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's so difficult sometimes. I don't know. We have okay. We have share a. Okay, I'm gonna have to. You know
I
how the
got
what?
it. I'm in. I got the
Okay,
chat.
okay. You know how the whatnot names? You're like, okay, where's the second word start? I think we have share a loyal bookstore.
Javier's here. Bob is here.
Oh, we have Sherilee. Sherilee. Max, do you see that? We have Sherilee, which is a Pakistan bookstore. Wow.
Love that.
Did you know we
Shirley,
have viewers
Shirley,
in
can
Pakistan?
you send Animal Vet some pictures of your store, please,
Oh,
so
I'd
we can
love to
share
see.
them?
Well, you could send them to my KG's Unique Rare and Antique Books Instagram or Facebook page would be the
Yeah,
easiest way.
yeah.
I mean, that would be so cool.
And can
Um,
Bob is already ripping on me.
uh-oh. I'm not sure Max would remember the previous episode. That's true. That's true. He can't remember how to find the chat, so I don't know. We'll think of something cool to do because we appreciate all you people coming and watching us. Wow, Sherilee. So Sherilee has antique books available. Man, maybe we need to start sourcing books from Pakistan.
I already contacted her.
Tell you what, Sherilee, if you want to mail us books on consignment, I think we could do some pretty amazing stuff with old books from Pakistan.
Wizard of Oz
Sure.
in non-English form would be
Sure.
wild.
Yeah. X Fire says, "Hey guys, made it today. Welcome in, X Fire. Appreciate you
That's
stopping by."
Javier. That's Javier.
Yep. Welcome in, everybody. Me and Max have a couple book collections to talk about here in a
Yeah.
minute. Otherwise, we're happy to answer all of your late breaking book selling related questions, whether you want to know about what's the value of a book or how to sell a book, selling on eBay. Max, okay, we need to come up with a list of where people in the Paper Gold group sell books because we have eBay, Amazon, whatnot, Etsy, Pango,
Mhm.
bookstores and antique stores. We'll call that one. Bookstores and
Biblio and Abe,
Biblio and Abe,
Macari,
Arcari,
Instagram,
Instagram. Yep. I know we're missing a
live
couple.
auctioneers. Mike does live
Yep,
auctioneers.
live auctioneer,
I do Doyle's auction house. That's some
Doyle's.
yeah,
Yep, auction
Doyle's.
houses. Yeah,
We
yeah.
also have Grayson who did both Sotheby's and Christie's, I think,
I
or
remember he did
just
Sotheby's.
Sotheby's.
Well,
Yeah.
yep, that's auction
Okay.
houses.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So we know a little bit about, like 12 different platforms, places to sell books. So that's kind of cool.
I'm sure if we put our mind to it, we can come up with three more.
Okay, Hoops on Fire 17 is Steve from Paper Gold, also a new member. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Welcome in.
And Scipio
Happy to
Books is
answer all
here.
your questions.
Scipio from Whatnot is here. Oh, you froze again.
How about now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I don't know. I'm never sure if it's Scipio or Scipio.
I say
Scipio.
Scipio.
I think I say Scipio. Some people say Scipio. So I pronunciation is a mess. It's a mess.
Scipio, can you phonetically spell it in the chat for us?
Yeah.
All right, Ken,
Junkman says,
let's talk about the collections. Let's start
okay.
with yours because yours has a very interesting backstory, which I would love to get into a little bit because it's somebody you've dealt with over the years. And
Mhm.
you and I don't want to say disagree, but we definitely don't see eye to eye on this type of book deal.
Well, I'm not going to give too many details, but it came from a bookstore that I've been
Mhm.
buying from for a couple of years now in Wisconsin.
Scipio.
Oh, Scipio. Okay,
Scipio.
Scipio. Perfect. Well, that's
Okay.
easy to remember. Scipio. Well,
Yeah.
I still, even when people tell me how to say their names or what their name is, I still say it wrong. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry in advance. Uh, so this is a bookseller in Wisconsin that I've been buying books for a couple of years, and I drop quite a bit of money when I go to their bookstore, 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever. And they had first I bought a Freemasonry collection from them last summer, which took me some convincing, and I made them an offer, and then they realized they weren't going to get to listing the books, so they finally sold them to me.
Can you do a little bit of a backstory though? This is a gentleman who doesn't go online.
No, he's on. They have a
Oh,
huge Abe Books
Abe, yeah, Abe,
inventory.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, and we,
yes.
we have certain feelings about that. But yeah,
Abe, and your own website is slow. It's unbelievably slow. I think that's what a lot of the older generation of booksellers Abe is kind of known as the more reputable place to buy your books. Though, I mean, the one of the reasons I don't buy much on Abe is because a lot of the dealers don't put photos. They'll put a couple paragraph
mhm,
description and like all the bibliographical references and the condition. They'll write a huge thing about the condition, but then they don't have a photo.
right.
I would rather buy a book on eBay that had a bunch of photos and no description. I'd rather buy from that person than someone that writes paragraphs and doesn't have a photo.
Mhm.
So this is an older dealer that's been in the business for probably 50 years. And Max, I mean, I think you didn't like this deal because I had to pay up for it. I had to pay a significant amount of money for it.
And he wasn't really budging at all with you, even though you showed uncompromising loyalty through to
Yeah.
him over the years.
Well, I will say this is like my sixth or seventh trip to buy from this bookstore.
Mhm.
And they have started letting me into the back rooms and dig through stuff that's not listed and new collections they just bought and stuff. So it's getting easier. And that's the way it always is when you go buy from a bookseller and they're always hesitant to let you look through their storage rooms and dig through stuff that they haven't priced out and stuff. They're always hesitant until they know that you're going to be a continuous buyer
Mhm.
and a long time buyer and spend some serious money with them. So I was finally able to make a deal on this. I call it the counterculture collection. It's a lot of kind of leftist, socialist, communist, hippie, civil rights, women's rights, drugs, rock and roll, that kind of stuff.
San
Uh,
Francisco 60s, Haight
yeah,
Ashbury,
yep.
counterculture, um, during the hippie movement and probably a little bit of the post hippie movement going into the early 70s.
Yeah, it's probably mostly 70s, but
Mhm.
there's some stuff dating back to the
Right.
40s and 50s, some communist stuff dating back to then. A lot of 60s, 70s into the 80s is probably a majority of it. So I'll just show you a few pieces. And a lot of these like different it's a lot of newspapers and magazines and brochures and stuff. There's like um, Communist Party of America candidates from the 50s, their little brochures, which are unbelievably rare because most of those candidates never won and are just a blip in the history. But like this one is the Good Times newspaper with the cool
Go a
little.
little back, go a little back. There
Okay,
you go. There you go. There you go.
I want to give you a close up. Cool little pot leaf right there. Good Times newspaper. This one's from 1970, and it's a newspaper out of San Francisco.
Do you have a
Uh,
week and a month in there or anything other than the year?
yeah, it's so this is volume 3, so I think this would have been the third year of this newspaper. It's June 12th, 1970, and look at that. Look at the cool hippies on the cover. And then the top tagline is Confessions of an Acid Atheist. So there's definitely going to be some interesting drug related stuff in this one. And the reason I pulled this one is because the middle section of the newspaper is this cool,
This is the money
huge,
shot. This is the
yeah,
money
huge
shot.
folding map of the US.
Give back to the Indians. Give back to the
Yep,
Indians.
yep, give it back. Yep, give it back to the Indians. So like referring to land repatriation or whatever exactly you would have called it, giving the land back to the Native Americans. Um, so like a cool, like I know people love ephemera and they love big, cool, graphic kind of stuff. And again, straight out of the 70s, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff on civil rights and drugs. I think this is a civil rights leader, an anti-police kind of stuff, and civil rights stuff, and socialist and union kind of stuff, drugs, all that stuff. Like so many interesting things in every one of these. It's straight out of the 70s. Like it doesn't get any more 1970s than that. So actually, I will say I'm going to be doing a whatnot show with a lot of this here in just a couple weeks. Um,
What
I
do you
haven't
call
scheduled.
what are you calling it? Do you have a title for the show?
I think the title is going to be like civil rights. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have like civil rights,
Counterculture.
socialism, counterculture kind of stuff. I
Mhm,
don't want to say like drugs and sex because I don't know if whatnot would like those in the
mhm.
title.
Or
But
you
it
could
just
just title it "Whatever Happened to the Hippie Movement."
yeah, something like that. So I'm very excited. Like here's a really cool newspaper from 1973. It's the River City Review out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Mhm.
And actually, this is like a souvenir for the Ozark Folk Festival. This is their official program. It has all the cool stuff about the different bands and stuff that we're going to be playing. So it's the Ozark Mountain Folk Fair, May 26th, 27th, 28th, 1973. And actually, this is the only year that this festival took place. It was supposed to be an annual thing.
Do you have any names of bands there that you could read to us from?
I looked it up online. I didn't recognize any of them, but I
Okay.
don't know too much about folk music from
Yeah.
1973. But it's really cool, like a cool newspaper from the 70s out of Memphis, Tennessee, advertising a folk festival that only took place this one year.
Mhm.
So, and I saw other of these newspapers from different years. Sometimes they're as low as like 15 or 20 bucks. Sometimes there's as much as 50. I think this one's pretty darn special just if you're into folk music. And again, I couldn't find there's a online article about this folk festival and all the details. Apparently it rained a lot and it was muddy and it was a mess. And it was supposed to take this was supposed to be the first annual one, but then it never happened again after that.
Also within months of Woodstock.
Oh, I did not know that.
1969 was Woodstock.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then I have like cool communist magazines, lots of
Cool communist magazines.
yeah, I'm not a fan of communism, but I know there are some people that, you know, like studying that kind of stuff. There's lots of like this one seems to be kind of this is the URPE
Love that.
little newsletter, and it's a newsletter for the Union of Radical Political Economics. So like a lot of radical leftist, socialist, communist, workers' rights kind of stuff. And there's just piles of it. Like I have like 15 boxes of this kind of stuff.
Read the chat. Junkman says they still have um that show, that showcase.
What show you want to
The
read it?
Ozark. The Ozark.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's,
this is
it's in the chat.
I don't see it. That was a big deal or organized by Jimmy Driftwood. Yeah, okay. There you go. I don't see him saying da 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 da.
He says they still have it every year.
Okay. Oh, I don't see that chat. Weird. Oh, they still have it every year. Yep, I see it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that stuff. Some of the kind of civil rights and women's rights and leftist kind of stuff is some of the hottest selling stuff. The LGBTQ stuff, the anything on like drug legalization and women's rights, like that's some of the hottest selling stuff right now. So yeah, I'm excited to bring this stuff to Whatnot, and I think it's going to do very well. And yeah, definitely look out if you can find any kind of, I'm just calling it counterculture
Mhm,
because back then it was counterculture. Like all this stuff was kind of taboo and stuff.
mhm. But
Um,
what's important to me as a bookseller and book hunter, so how many boxes did you get to purchase?
um, about 20.
Okay. So the beauty for me on this is, as you and I always say, this stuff is still out there.
Yeah,
People still have this stuff saved for 40, 50, 80, 100 years, sitting
yeah,
in back rooms, sitting in boxes or crates. And people sometimes they watch the things we sell on eBay, and we make a big deal of selling $1,000 book or something. But I've always said this stuff is still out there, and you just got to knock on enough doors, and a door will open, and a present will be inside sooner or later. So that's
yeah.
what's special to me about this story.
Yeah, this is a very special collection, and I don't know. There's hundreds and hundreds of items. There might be 1,000 items or something. Um, and some of them might only be $5 or $10, but I think there's definitely going to be some 50 and $100 items.
Mhm.
Hopefully, I think they're
Are
pretty
you
cool.
are you having fun and excitement going through them one by one?
Oh, there's so much
Yeah.
interesting stuff. There's a lot of like the Guardian magazine, which was a UK publication, but then there was also the same. I don't know if they're associated, but there was one out of New York too. And it
Mhm.
has all the stuff on anti-Vietnam like lots of protests all over at different universities from that era. There's some cool like Black Panther covers. Those I think could do very, very well. Um, yeah, very cool snapshot in time for sure. Anything else?
Well, anything you want to add about it? I mean, you have a date for the show. You don't have a title yet, but it's going to be in a
No, I
couple
don't have a
weeks.
date. I don't have
Yeah.
a date yet. I'm gonna work on loading it up tomorrow. So you can check me out. Whatnot. I am seller animal at 52 on Whatnot.
You do you think it's probably going to be in 2026? You're not going to squeeze it in
No,
2025.
yeah, it'll be 2026. I think it's going to be one of my Tuesday shows. It
Mhm.
may be approximately the Tuesday, January 13th, maybe.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
What about you? What kind of consigners or collections are you
Yeah.
working with?
Well, you and I have a very, very fun person to speak to, a mutual friend named Eric Poppenfuss, who owns Midtown Scholar Books in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I know him because of you, and we there's a little trio of a relationship there from my YouTube channel, Destination Unknown. Um, but the three of us have definitely developed a friendship outside of YouTube. And we've interviewed him a few times. We've brought him on Paper Gold on the Zoom call. And through the blossoming relationship of talking books, he has been kind enough. He's been following both you and I on Whatnot. Um, and he has been kind enough to send me 3 boxes of books. I did receive 2 of the 3 today. Um, and I'm going to be doing a show with his books and his jaw-dropping ephemera on Tuesday, December 30th. I'm going
Next
to,
Tuesday, I believe. That's
yep,
next
yep,
Tuesday.
yep. I'm going to be featuring only his collection of books and ephemera that he sent me. I will have about 15 to 20 pre-listed in the next couple of days, so people will have an idea. But Eric has kindly sent some phenomenal items, even books in vellum, some beautiful 1600 copies of books as well. I am going to put some of these as well on the January 14th antique book show I do. But the vast amount of his collection will be sold on the 30th, and that's the 5 o'clock show. I just made the thumbnail today. But that's mid. I'm going to also try to bring him in on camera, Kent, so he
Okay.
can be live for at least 5 minutes and talk to the people in the chat and get familiar with Whatnot. as a face. He does have a very big YouTube following. And
Yeah,
so
Midtown Scholars
yeah,
Books or
yeah.
bookstore, I think,
So
on YouTube.
he's a
Yep.
very well known and highly respected bookseller, and I just feel very lucky and privileged to do this type of business with him, where he's sending, he just sent me 3 boxes. I didn't okay anything. I didn't, of course I trust him. And then when I opened up the 2 boxes today, I was just utterly amazed at what he had sent, and so generous of him to share his items with our whatnot audience.
Yeah, yeah, that should be a very fun show. And I think
Yeah.
you work with certain consigners that you just know they have an eye and they
Yeah.
know what's good and what's not. And I suppose there's other consigners that aren't so good at, knowing what's good, and you have complete discretion on sorting out what you think is saleable and what's not.
Mhm.
And I mean, I would be kind of lost if a consigner wanted to sell me modern first editions. I know
Mhm.
nothing about that market. Um, so it's tough, but I think he sent you some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, he did. I mean, this is a market that I love doing. I mean, you've sent me some things in the past as
Hmm.
well. Um,
I think I mailed you like
yeah,
3 pallets this
yeah.
summer, didn't I?
And also, I mean, I we did very well with those Spanish modern novels you sent me. We
Yep.
did very well with that. Um, but this is a branch of the business that I love doing, because I'm only one person, so I can only go to so many flea markets. I can only go to so many estate sales, but allowing other people to hunt for you and then to sell for them is just gives me such great joy that I can always bring top-notch level books and ephemera to whatever platform I sell on.
Yeah, this summer I bought it was someone that owned a bookstore and this was his personal collection. So it was like 40 boxes of books. And there was some Folio Society. I put some of the Folio
Oh yeah.
Society in the store, plus I mailed you a few boxes of Folio Society. And there was a ton of modern Spanish literature in English, but by Spanish authors from like the 70s to the early 2000s or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
he was definitely building a collection of Spanish literature. He was definitely
And
building a
me and
collection.
Max video called because I'm like, well, like ready to take a truckload to Goodwill because I don't deal in this stuff. I looked up some because he had prices in all of them, so I would look up a $40 one, and that one was maybe worth $20, and I would look up a $20 one, and that one was maybe worth 5 or 10. So I could kind of gauge off of his prices which ones could potentially have value. But Max is like, nope, just mail it all to me. And I'm like, well, good, because I don't want to look all this stuff up. I don't know. You know so much about modern
Yeah.
authors that I know
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
you had some great Gabriela Garcia Marquez, you had some great Carlos Fuentes, you had some great Julio Cortázar. I mean, you just had all the greats of modern Spanish literature. It would have been a shame for that to go to Goodwill without me getting my grubby little hands on it and trying to sell it for us. So
Yeah, and I think
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
yeah, I think it's smart as a bookseller, to kind of delegate because I would have if I would have tried selling that on my whatnot, it would have been a bloodbath. I wouldn't have made
Let me
any
hear
money.
you roll your R's. Let me hear you roll your R's.
I'm pretty good at that. I can do that. Max Ruback. How's that?
Oh,
We have Wardell in the chat. He says Paper Gold best group in the country for book selling. Hey, we should probably promote STL Bookkeeper on
yeah.
whatnot. And also go follow him on I think it's the same on Instagram.
He
He
has his
deals
own website. Don't forget his website.
what's his website? I don't know it.
He's Wardell, put it in the chat. Put your website
Yeah.
in the chat, please.
If you are interested in Playboys and other similar magazines, he just picked up a collection. Go check it out on his Instagram. I think it's a complete Playboy collection. It's missing one issue from 1955, and he's going to be selling that all on whatnot. I think he has the Marilyn Monroe issue. So please go check out STL Bookkeeper on Instagram and whatnot, and hopefully he posts his website in the chat.
How exciting is his 2026 going to be?
I think in 2026 he's going to be one of the biggest Playboy sellers in the country. Like,
Will he become a millionaire in 2026?
probably by 2027 he'll be a millionaire. I mean, he knows so much about that stuff now, and he's doing so well with it. And and I think he does want to expand his. He obviously he wants to buy that stuff outright, but he also wants to do consignment with that stuff, and like he's unbelievably knowledgeable about that stuff, and he does so well. He has such a crazy following on whatnot. And his website, he sold the Marilyn Monroe on his website, I think, here a couple months ago. So yeah, everyone, please go check him out if you're interested in that stuff. And he had never really sold magazines or books before he joined Paper Gold, did he?
No, he called me. He said he had a hunch, he had a feeling, he wanted to try it. And I know we've told this story, you and I have told this story with Wardell several times, but within 30 days, he sold a $2,000 first edition Hemingway, and he was off and running and never looked back.
Do you remember what Hemingway title it was?
I don't remember. It wasn't Farewell to Arms. It was earlier.
Okay.
It was one of the 1920 novels, but I don't remember which one it was.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the magic of Paper Gold is it's just
Yeah.
such a quick way to learn by other, we've all made mistakes and learned things over the course of 10 or 15 or 20 years. And if you can ask questions and bypass all the mistakes and buying stuff you shouldn't and buying stuff you should and
Yeah,
definitely it's a
it's like
major
going to
resource.
college for booksellers. I mean, it's a $20 a month going to college. It's the cheapest college that's going to make you the most money. But we should be fair and say if you're interested in it, we don't have any spots right now. We've capped it off at 150, so there is a waiting list that's building. So I don't want to talk about it and promote it, and then you get mad
Yeah.
that you can't come in.
But if you get on the waiting list, you could
Yeah.
probably get into the group in the next month or two. I know I just had someone reach out to me on whatnot to get on the waiting list. So Grayson says, yo, welcome in, Grayson. Glad you can make it. Any questions? We don't have any. I don't see any questions. Oh, but someone did say they also sell on Facebook and Etsy thrift books, buybacks. Yep, buybacks programs is a great resource. And there's lots of people in the group that have all kinds of different ways to do it. I know a lot of people are dabbling in the kind of newer thrift books buyback. That seems to be a popular new thing that is working very well with certain people. What
Also,
about
I think we need to promote that we will be doing our end of the year show again, which was very popular last year, where you and I, all transparency, we reveal our numbers from all of the platforms we sell on. We
Mhm.
talk about our year in at the end. We also talk about what we see as changing in the next year in our businesses. And you have more changes than I do coming up. Um, but we are going to be doing that next week where you're going to see actual numbers. We're not going to verbally just tell you, we're going to show you on the marketplaces. What
Well,
our
are we doing it next week is the 29th, so we are be doing a preview of approx we could easily look up our eBay and
Yeah,
whatnot numbers. It's
yeah,
very simple to get
yeah,
the
yeah. We'll
and then
probably do it next week just because it's 2 days away from the first, and
and then we'll
yeah,
probably record a separate video talking about
yeah,
we'll be talking about what our 2026 is going to look like, how our
yeah,
2025
yeah.
went, which I think we both did very, very well in 2025.
Yeah, but
Um,
but also your 2026 is going to change more than I think mine is, but I'm also I think right behind you.
yeah,
I may have
yeah,
been the leader of whatnot for you and I. You're going to
mhm,
be the leader in this other motion that you're going forward with as we go forward.
yeah. Oh, we do have a great comment from Steven. He says, Kent, what are your thoughts on the advantages and disadvantages of also having a brick and mortar location to complement your book selling business? Well, and this is kind of what I suggest with people that want to own a bookstore is build up your online presence enough to support
Mhm.
your mortgage and all that stuff. Because there's going to be slow days, and if you're in a big city on a busy road, your mortgage or your rent's going to be crazy. If you're off the beaten path or maybe on a side street, your rent's going to be lower, but your traffic's going to be lower. Um, so I think the main reason I love having a bookstore is every single week there's people that bring in books to sell me. Now I need to sell those books online to make it worth it, because there's going to be days that I sell $100 and spend $500 on books coming in the door.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
it's not always a balanced scale in your world.
yeah, yeah. There's not too many like banger days where I make like 500 or more dollars.
Right.
It just doesn't happen too often. But I am in a pretty rural place.
Yeah, but I
Um,
think also we've talked about this several times before. I don't know if you can redirect him to past episodes where we've talked about this at length.
I don't. That was probably back before we started labeling the titles to have an
Yeah.
idea. So we definitely talked about it, and I would say the main disadvantage is probably the fact that I have to be here 4 days a week, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's like a
Mhm.
major difference. Than I mean, for over 10 years, I just worked out of my house. So, I mean, I still had to work all day, almost every day, but I could be flexible and gotta wear jeans every day to look presentable to the public, even if only 3 people come in. So I mean, it's a big change for me versus just working out of my house. To have to be here and be presentable to the public and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Whereas Max just works out of his house and um, can somewhat pick his own hours. You can set your whatnot shows when you want. You can
I
work on
went to the gym this afternoon before my
yeah,
whatnot show. I went to the gym. I worked out for an hour. So I have more leisure and luxury to come and go as I please.
yeah. And you could certainly I could certainly get employees to take over. Um, but I haven't ventured into that too
Right.
much. Steven says, is the bookstore a passion project that also funds and fulfills the online? Yeah, yeah, it was just definitely a passion project. It's not, I don't know if there's any bookstore that's really getting rich. A lot of the people that have been in the business for many years, they tell me that about half of their business is online versus at the physical store. So without online, most of them wouldn't be able to pay their bills.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I mean, my suggestion if you want to get into renting a space or owning a bookstore is to build up your online audience first to a point where it can support it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
And you were selling books in college, though. You were doing it long before
yeah,
you
I
were.
was doing it out of my dorm room, and I can't even imagine. I remember I used to sell um box lots of like what I called first editions from like the 40s and 50s with missing dust jackets, and they were horrible. And I'd get $10 for a big box of, I called them first editions, but like just junk. And I spent years just selling junk until you learn like, okay, this is the condition you want. These are the titles and authors you want. It's a major learning curve, and it does take years to have an eye like me and Max,
Mhm.
where we can go to an estate sale and be like, okay, these I for sure am buying these. I might need to look up these ones. It takes a long time to get the instincts of
Yeah.
what to buy and what to look up to check.
And I can tell all of our listeners now that that is one change I will be making in 2026. I am
Mhm.
going to film myself going to the Goodwill bins. I'm going to
Yeah.
film myself going to a flea market and estate sales so people can see how I act, how I think, and how I pull books from shelves.
Are you gonna get a GoPro?
I'm probably going to do it with the glasses.
Oh shoot, I was just thinking about that. I've
Yeah.
invested so much stupid money into GoPros and like
Yeah.
an extra cell phone to record shit, but the glasses are
Yeah.
probably
I want people to actually see me in action and how I speak to the people at the flea market to see if there's any more books in the back of the trucks or anything like that.
how Max speaks to people at the flea market. I'll give you $1.
I'm the book man.
How about three for $1? Junkman says pants suck, boxers all day, even at the grocery. Yeah, yeah. I hate wearing jeans. Wait till summer, then I can wear shorts. Steven says great feedback. Thanks. Yep, yeah, I'm happy to answer questions about bookstores. And actually, how many bookstore owners do we have in Paper Gold now?
You, Ryan, Jen, Fritz, and her husband,
Hmm.
Addie and Amanda,
Oh yeah, yep.
um,
And then there's a few that do like antiques.
Reliant used to have it. They've converted to Whatnot
Yeah.
now, so we
Yep.
can't really count them, but they were one of them.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like I'm missing one or two. Well, we also have Latin Pickers who has the book bus.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I have to
yeah.
count that. I have to count that. They actually have a book bus. We're going to have to bring them on in 2026. That would be a great conversation.
They have such a fascinating story because they
Yeah.
went from being a huge Amazon seller with conveyor belts
Yeah.
and Gaylord tippers and buying truckloads of
Yeah.
books to I think that dude I don't know what their operation now. I think a lot of it is going local sales
Yeah.
because if you're selling on Amazon, Amazon's taking such a huge chunk of your fees that I think it would maybe be nicer and less stressful to just load up your book with really cool stuff, do some sellback. I think they do a lot of sellback stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna reach out to them and see if they'll be our first guest in 2026.
okay. I don't think I'm missing any Monday shows in the foreseeable future.
Hopefully not.
No. Okay, we got a few more Cutthroat Journey. That's
Oh,
Kirk.
Meg is here. Meg is here.
Yep, yep, yep. We have Lilac Cellar. All the Northerners need some more down. We have a lot of paper golders in Florida.
Yeah, we do.
Um, huge, huge Florida contingent of y'all.
I get them all.
Yep. Anything else you want to wrap it up here? We got
No, I
24
think that
people
yeah,
watching.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Again, next week will be our year-end show.
Yep,
Um,
we'll give you some rough numbers, and then I think we're gonna record a separate video to
mhm,
post by itself of like screenshots of our eBay numbers and our whatnot numbers. And
and
it'll be
then yeah,
interesting to see because you're doing more whatnot, so you're pulling stuff that would normally be eBay inventory and doing it on whatnot. But your eBay number didn't go down because you've
mhm,
been doing promoted listings.
right.
So you're listing less new stuff on eBay than ever
Yeah, but
historically.
yeah, I have a very interesting story to tell for this year for sure
It'll
because
be interesting to
yeah,
see what your graph looks like because I assume
yeah,
it's going to be steady, and then when you start doing promoted listings, it's going to go up.
sharp increase and then plateaus, a little bit of an increase, maybe a little bit of a dip, and then
Yeah.
plateaus. But the numbers, I was a little nervous in the beginning of 2025 as my numbers were dipping. But the challenge of promoted listings that you challenged me to um was a game changer. And I'm not comfortable with what eBay is doing now, and I guess we
Mhm.
can talk about that. Um, but they're just going to keep driving people away to other platforms, it looks like.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, you're already kind of like racking your brain, like, okay, if it's a very niche book that might be tough to sell, it's not a good whatnot book.
Right.
If it's a $200 book, but maybe it's like a really niche topic, it might only bring $5 on whatnot.
Right. But, and you and I don't always agree on this either, but I love doing niche subjects on Whatnot.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like trying to cultivate that audience because I'm
true.
also seeing the bigger picture that in years to come, that could be a great audience.
Yeah, I'm sticking to a very narrow,
Mhm.
like, okay, I want to sell authors that everyone knows and topics that everyone likes. And yeah, you are a little bit brave and like you don't care if it's some weirdo artist that you're the only one that's heard of. You'll sell them. All right. Well, I think we're good. We will see you all next
I see
Monday
you,
after
Meg. I
the.
see you, Meg.
Yep.
Meg is
We said.
Lilac. Meg is Lilac Center.
I know you said hi to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. We know Meg.
Okay.
She's from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Fourth.
Yep. Well, thank you all. We'll see you next week. Have a great night and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah's already over, I think, right?
I
Or
think
is it
today's
still
the last
Hanukkah?
day. I think today may be the last day.
Well, Happy Hanukkah to you, Max.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go light the candles now.